All right, we're back with another edition of Ram Country Conversations. Brian Roth, voice of the Rams, back with you. Well, we're happy to be joined by Bailyn Furrow, senior defender on the Colorado State women's soccer team, as school is back in session at Colorado State. Bailyn, thanks so much for taking a couple of minutes out of, I know, your busy school schedule. Give me an idea. What is it like to be back on campus, going to class in the unusual time that is the COVID-19 pandemic?
It's really interesting. It's super different than it's ever been before. I have 4 classes, one being in person, one hybrid, and then 2 online. And the in-person classes are really interesting because there's a lot of procedures that have never been in place. The class sizes are taken down quite a bit. I'm pretty sure I had my own row to myself in one of my classes, which is super uncommon. So the interaction between students is limited on campus. Say the only perk is that the parking isn't an issue anymore because there's no students there. As far as online, it's really nice because I can do it at my own pace, and so it's pretty flexible, but I do miss the interaction with my fellow peers.
Yeah. You know, you have a unique perspective with all of this because you're on the Colorado State Student Advisory, Student Athlete Advisory Committee. What are some of the conversations you guys have been having around not just the pandemic, but some of the social movements going on across the country, and in particular, Black Lives Matter?
Yeah, so our Student Athlete Advisory Committee incorporates all of athletics, and so we have a pretty diverse group, I would say, and honestly, we've been kind of listening and trying to tune into our own Fort Collins community as well as our student population at Colorado State and trying to support all athletes in the way they want to showcase, I guess, their individuality and how they want to present the movement and however they seem fit. And so us as a committee have been just trying to back our student athletes just as a whole, whether that be them protesting, social media stuff, or just not saying anything at all, but really trying to respect everyone and get everyone's voice heard in the best way that we know how. I've led a lot of Zoom meetings and stuff like that. So there's a lot.
Zoom has become a kind of the new normal for just about everybody. It really doesn't matter what profession you're in or what age you are. Look, obviously, it's been a roller coaster ride for somebody that's involved in fall collegiate sports, and the Mountain West Conference announcing, I think a couple of weeks ago it was, but that they were canceling all of fall sports. And of course, that includes women's soccer, of course, which you're a part of. What has the past few weeks, months been like trying to prepare for a season that in the end isn't happening?
It's been a roller coaster. I mean, we came back the middle of July. We had all of our athletes come back early. So we were all back on campus right around July 11th to the 15th. Went through the whole testing process, getting cleared, and starting practice, conditioning, weights, doing all the full 9 yards. And then into August, we started our preseason. So just like normal, how we'd always been preparing for a season, even though it had been delayed at that point, we still thought we were going to play. And then it seemed pretty sudden that they just decided to cancel our whole season. I feel like a lot of other conferences announced stuff before, but then I feel like the Mountain West just canceled everything kind of just super quickly. And so the transition from playing to not figuring out that we weren't going to play was pretty dramatic and sad for a lot of our team, especially as seniors. We hope there's going to be a spring season, but you never know.
Yeah, and I'll let you run on this. You say you hope to play in the spring, and obviously some plans starting to be put into place for that. But what do you focus on as an athlete now with your time and trying to keep that training up, despite the fact there's not going to be any competition here, at least in the fall?
I think that as an athlete, I'm really trying to focus on the fun side of soccer. We've been training now basically since March with no competition. We don't know when our next competition will be. So really focusing on like why I love soccer and why I play is kind of a good thing to focus on for me, at least, as far as keeping me motivated to prepare for hopefully a spring season, because if you fall out of love with the sport, you're not going to be ready to play in the spring at all. So I've been trying to focus on the little things that make me why I like soccer and why I love to play it.
Yeah.
So.
Well, listen, Bailyn, keep your head up, keep grinding away. I know it's been a disappointing time. I know for a lot of student athletes that are involved in fall sports that have been canceled, but keep on keeping on, I guess. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you.
That's Bailyn Furrow, senior defender for the Colorado State women's soccer program, also a Fort Collins native, prepped at Rocky Mountain. All right, that'll do it for this edition of Ram Country Conversations. Thanks for joining us. I'm Brian Roth, the voice of the Rams.